You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900.
Thank you for joining us here on News 25 and Ace Country Radio and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices on this Friday, January 10th, 2025. Good evening. I'm Chris Palermo and here's what's happening. In local news, a traffic incident on Highway 160 near Wheeler Pass Road caused a temporary closure yesterday evening, briefly halting travel in both directions. News 25 has the details on this collision.
Jason Ernest of Mount West Lawyers. Don't be bullied by insurance companies. Call me, 775-727-9500.
Yesterday evening at 5:27 p.m., a two-vehicle crash occurred on Highway 160 and Wheeler Pass Road when a Kia SUV veered left and collided head-on with a red pickup truck. The Kia then rolled and landed on its roof. Both drivers were transported to Desert View Hospital with minor injuries. Highway 160 was closed down for about a half hour in both directions. Sergeant Bransky of Nevada Highway Patrol says that no impairment is suspected in this collision.
More news now. The Board of County Commissioners have officially appointed a new county manager following Tim Sutton's retirement in September of last year. News 25 has details on this story.
After a prolonged vacancy, the Nye County Commission has officially filled the position of county manager. On Monday, January 6th, the board voted to appoint Brent Wagner, the current county planning director, as the new county manager. Brent Wagner, who has served for the county for several years now, will step into the role with an annual salary of approximately $214,000. This appointment also comes with a contract that includes a stipulation that Wagner's salary will increase by 5.25% each year, contingent upon a satisfactory performance evaluation by a majority of the commission. This provision was also met with some concern by the newly seated commissioner, John Koenig.
I would like to put a cap of 5 years on that, because if it continues to 5 years, he'll be making $300,000. And if we keep on going, theoretically, he could take all our money. So.
The meeting saw a significant amount of both negative and positive public comments, with some residents expressing their concerns over a possible conflict of interest, while others praised Wagner's experience and qualifications for the role.
I just don't understand what's going on with filling this position. Was this delay in giving Mr. Wagner the position just to placate us into thinking that you were searching somewhere else for a job replacement? There's just too much of nepotism in this community. You're either related to somebody, you're married, you're a significant other, a child, or a cousin. We need new leadership in this town, and I'm totally opposed to this. I'm very upset.
As many of you know, PVD has had the honor and privilege of serving this community for the past few decades. Throughout this time, we've witnessed remarkable leadership and growth. PVD has had the pleasure of working closely with Director Wagner over the years. It is for this reason we are here today to express our strong support for Director Wagner and his candidacy for the county manager position. Brett has consistently demonstrated an ability to achieve results efficiently, communicate effectively, and solve problems adeptly. We would be thrilled to continue our collaboration with him in this new capacity. Thank you for your time.
As Wagner transitions into his new role, the focus will now shift to his leadership and ability to manage the county's resources effectively, ensuring the balance between financial responsibility and the progress for Nye County residents.
I have no intentions of diminishing my communication and my efforts to communicate with outlying communities. In my current role, I've made that a priority. I've made it a promise, and I've upheld that promise. I believe most of them would agree, if not all. I would be surprised if they didn't. As far as my availability, I have that now. I mean, I joke all the time, I take a day off, but is it really a day off? It's never a day off. I may not be in the office that day, but I am always available.
I think you're ideal for the job. You deal well with the public, you deal well with your people, and that's important. Based on that, I am going to make a motion to A, appoint Brett A. Wagner, Nye County Manager, and B, amend, and that's amending to adding the 5-year termination of the 5.25% raise, and approve the agreement between Nye County and Brett A. Wagner.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We've certainly deliberated this to death. I'd like to call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye. Support is aye.
The motion carries 4-1.
More news now. Crews are making progress on the Palisades fire, which has become the largest in a series of wildfires that erupted in the Los Angeles area this week. And as of Friday, the fire has scorched more than 20,000 acres, with firefighters reporting 8% containment. First reported on Tuesday, the Palisades fire is believed to have destroyed more than 5,000 structures. Thousands of residents remain under evacuation orders, and a curfew has been imposed in affected areas. And due to heavy ash and debris, a boil water notice has been issued for the region. CAL FIRE officials warn that humidity will stay low and critical fire weather conditions are expected to persist through next week. Authorities are continuing to monitor the situation as crews battle the blaze and work to protect communities in its path. More news coming up. You're watching News 25.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
And welcome back to News 25 on this Friday night. I'm Chris Palermo. A Las Vegas family is desperate for answers after a 65-year-old went missing on a routine flight in his plane. News 25 has the details on his disappearance.
Multiple agencies are currently looking for a missing pilot by the name Michael Martin, who went missing on January 2nd, 2025. Martin took off from the North Las Vegas airport at 10:53 a.m., heading northwest in a 1968 Piper Cherokee plane. Transmissions from the plane stopped outside of Indian Springs, but flight data did not show any descent or drop in altitude. The Nye County Sheriff's Office were able to track Martin's phone, iPad, and watch data to the area by Round Mountain, which is 226 miles north of Pahrump. Around 20 rescue team members from the National Guard, BLM, U.S. Forest Service, and officers are conducting ground and air operations around various peaks. No other information has been released at this time. News 25 will update you as more information becomes available.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, in the deep blue state of New York, in a deep blue courtroom, two-time U.S. President Donald J. Trump scored an unconditional discharge this morning from Supreme Court Judge Juan Merchan. Our News 25 Las Vegas correspondent Maria Centers now joins us from the heart of the city with a Team Trump and Vance report as we head into the weekend.
With now just 10 days left of the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris presidential administration, the Team Trump and Vance transition has their sights set on making America great again, beginning on day one. Let's check in with the incoming White House presidential cabinet regarding their political progressions as the majority of American voters await for January 20th, 2025. Of today's news, Trump penned, the radical Democrats have lost another pathetic, un-American witch hunt.
The protections afforded the office of the president are not a mitigating factor. They do not reduce the seriousness of the crime or justify its commission in any way. The protections are, however, a legal mandate which, pursuant to the rule of law, this court must respect and follow.
The president added, after spending tens of millions of dollars wasting over 6 years of obsessive work that should have been spent on protecting New Yorkers from violent, rampant crime that is destroying the city and state, coordinating with the Biden-Harris Department of Injustice and lawless weaponization, and bringing completely baseless, illegal, and fake charges against your 45th and 47th President, me, I was given an unconditional discharge.
After careful analysis, in obedience to governing mandates, and pursuant to the rule of law, this court has determined that the only lawful sentence that permits entry of a judgment of conviction without encroaching upon the highest office in the land is an unconditional discharge, which the New York State Legislature has determined is a lawful and permissible sentence for the crime of falsifying business records in the first degree.
DJT concluded with, today's event was a despicable charade, and now that it is over, we will appeal this hoax, which has no merit, and restore the trust of Americans in our once great system of justice. Make America great again.
Therefore, at this time, I impose that sentence to cover all 34 counts. Sir, I wish you Godspeed as you assume your second term in office.
Nevada's very own Captain Sam Brown has been nominated as the nation's next Undersecretary for Memorial Affairs at the Department of Veterans Affairs. KPVM Television will continue to offer the top headlines straight from our pre-inauguration 2025 era. Proudly shooting it from Trump over the hump to my people in the beautiful desert oasis of Pahrump, I'm Maria Centers for News 25 Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, Maria. A great job this week, and have a great weekend. Well, in sports. Now, listen, I was talking to our sports director, Mikey Ruhan. I said, the New York Islanders are looking really good, and they came into town, and, well, I'll let Mikey give you the rest of the story in sports.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. The New York Islanders came to town and crushed the Vegas Golden Knights 4-0 on Thursday. Next up for the Golden Knights, they welcome the other New York team, the Rangers, on Saturday. The Las Vegas Raiders have fired general manager Tom Telesco on Thursday, 2 days after relieving head coach Antonio Pierce of his duties. Add another accolade to the list for Pro Bowl tight end Brock Bowers. The Las Vegas Raiders rookie was named to the Associated Press 2024 NFL All-Pro First Team. Pahrump Valley Trojan boy basketball are at home this evening against Sloan Canyon. JV in progress and varsity at 6:30 p.m. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Okay, Mikey, you are a talented fellow, and coming up here, well, we've got some ideas for your weekend. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, January 11th, the Art Walk of Pahrump is happening at Rubalcabas, located at 1500 Red Butte Street here in Pahrump. This event is packed with fun and creativity, featuring an art showcase, live music, a car show, and a photography event. There's also plenty for the kids, including a Lego building competition, face painting, and a chalk art contest. Don't miss the poetry contest, fashion show, open mic, even a talent show. The Art Walk is a perfect way to celebrate art, culture, and community. So make sure to stop by Rubalcabas tomorrow. Tell them that News 25 sent you. More local stories coming up, and your weather. You're watching News 25.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyers, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
And welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. Here's what's happening on a Friday night. Well, actually on a Sunday morning, we have got a great radio show. Here's Mikey to tell us what's cooking Sunday morning on Classic Country Breakfast on Ace Country Radio and streaming on channel 25.8 and now on the new Ace Country Radio app.
Howdy, when I'm out milking the oats, I like to take the Ace Country Radio app with me. You can too, download it today. On the menu this week on Classic Country Breakfast. Born on January 8th in East Tupelo, Mississippi, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Born on January 9th, Crystal Gale. We'll celebrate her. Born on January 11th, Naomi Judd. We'll pay tribute to her. Born on January 12th, friend of the show, William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys. We'll celebrate him. In the Not an Oldie But a Goodie segment, my special guest Ashley Westcott calls the show to talk about her influences, songwriting, and her new single, A Cowboy's Heart.
It is for all the men, the hardworking men. You don't have to be a cowboy. It's just for the good men out there who just are trying hard to get by and work really hard for their families.
Classic Country Breakfast this Sunday morning at 8 on Ace Country Radio, streaming at channel 25.8, and now on the new Ace Country Radio app.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
That's the Lerner and Rowe weather cam. The moon is shining already right here in Pahrump. And, well, today is kind of like the sandwich day. I'll tell you, the wind sandwich day. Yesterday we had the wind. Today is no wind. The wind is returning tomorrow. How much wind? Kaylee.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Desert View Hospital. We're here when you need us, providing compassionate and friendly care to our neighbors since 2006. DesertViewHospital.com.
Good evening, Nevada. I'm Kaylee Bentler in the News 25 Weather Studios. Let's check out our regional weather. Up in Fernley, we saw 50 degrees, 45 in Fallon, 43 Carson City, 39 Tonopah, 44 Goldfield, 54 Beatty, 55 Amargosa, 54 Las Vegas, and 63 in Death Valley. But over in our paradise at Pahrump, we're seeing clear skies at 52 degrees. We had a high of 57, winds in the northwest 2 miles per hour, humidity 19%, and the sun rose at 6:56. However, we caught a beautiful sunset at 4:48 p.m. Expect humidity at 32%, winds east-northeast 5 miles per hour, with a low of 34, and the skies are staying clear. Let's check out our weekend. That wind really comes back tomorrow, 16 miles per hour, at 59 degrees and sunshine. And then we take a dip in temperatures, seeing lower 50s from Sunday to Tuesday, and the temperatures go right back up. Come Wednesday, we're seeing upper 50s and lower 60s, with scattered clouds on Thursday and Friday. And that is your look at the weather. Back to the desk, here's Chris.
Thank you very much, Kaylee. Like I said, the wind is returning tomorrow, so watch out for those tumbleweeds when you're driving. Well, that'll just about do it for us tonight and all week here at News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. Make it a great weekend.